Mobile games are getting better and better at blending pay-to-win with free-to-play. The most clever games are able to give pay-to-win players significant advantages while hiding options for free-to-play players to get everything they need. District levels in Frostborn is one of these clever tricks, so let me tell you everything you need to know about these district levels. When you first start upgrading your district levels in Frostborn, it will seem very easy, but as you progress, it will get more and more difficult and will eventually become impossible unless you are willing to pay some money. Luckily, the most important things about upgrading your districts are available to free-to-play players, so let's go over how to max out the 14 areas of your district. The first area that can be maxed out is your founder statue at district level 67, but this is mostly fake because you're not allowed to use your own founder statue and other people aren't allowed to use your district until level 184. So even though it's maxed out, it doesn't really mean anything. However, the second area that can be maxed out is the architect, which is by far the most important function of district levels, so this is a huge win for free-to-play players. Increasing your level of architect increases how many doors and chests you can build in your base, which are the two biggest factors in how well you can defend your base from raiders. The architect can be upgraded at level 26, 30, 54, 60, and then maxed out at level 69. You can see here that while the requirements to get district level 69 are not easy, they are definitely achievable by a free-to-play player. The hardest of these requirements is the 3,135 silver, which takes at least 62 days to be obtained by a free-to-play player. If you input this into my formula for free-to-play games, Frostborn will get the highest grade possible. Unfortunately, this is not the only factor to be considered when dealing with district levels, and while district levels are probably the most pay-to-win thing about Frostborn, there are other pay-to-win aspects of Frostborn as well. The third area of your district that can be maxed out is the trader at level 104. The trader is a novel idea, but since it requires silver to make purchases, the items are generally considered overpriced for paying players, and they're of course never a good option for free-to-play players. The fourth area of your district that can be maxed out is the craftsman at level 111. This is the second most important thing to have maxed out, as it affects how many blueprints are available to you. You can see here that the requirements to get to district level 111 are significantly harder than they were for district level 69, requiring a minimum of 180 days for a free-to-play player to obtain the 10,825 silver. Using the formula previously mentioned, someone might argue that it is still a grade A game, but when you consider that using the repair table requires 50 silver each use, I would argue that this category puts Frostborn firmly into the grade B. Fortunately, the next 8 categories are not nearly as important for succeeding at the game, but unfortunately they get more and more expensive. The tavern can be maxed out at district level 118, but contrary to what the tax of the popular district might imply, a max district still only gets 30 silver to complete a quest. The scout can be maxed out at district level 129, which is helpful for getting more influence points to upgrade your district, but does not help you advance in the game. You can see here that the materials required to continue advancing in district levels just gets higher and higher, and begins to cost rarer and rarer resources. But the biggest hang up for free-to-play players is still the silver, which now exceeds over 200 days to reach this amount. The last 8 areas cannot be maxed out until the end, which starts with the shaman at level 177. The shaman increases your chance to find better loot at Odin's, which is why it is theoretically better to have your highest district level player open your caches, but we are working with relatively small numbers. The altar of Odin can be maxed out at level 178, which lets players get twice as many points for donating items. This is a ridiculously huge advantage for those that achieve this level, but you can see here that the requirements are also astronomically high. Even a pay-to-win player will struggle to reach these heights in their district levels. After that, the tax collector can be maxed out at district level 180, allowing the maximum tax amount to breach over 100 silver. But then again, at this point, I wonder how much you actually need silver. Then at level 182, you can max out your bank, giving you 30 slots that cannot be raided. Then at level 183, you can unlock your repair table. This might seem like a huge advantage because you no longer use silver to repair things, but in reality, once you get to this point, getting silver clearly wasn't that much of an issue for you. And then finally, at district level 184, you are able to max out your gate, which allows other players to visit and come see how dedicated you are to this game. This is my favorite of the high tier perks of district levels because it offers no advantage over other players, and I personally think that fame and recognition are a great thing for games to encourage people to pay for. You will notice here that even though I only added 6 more levels levels since the last time I showed you this chart, the price goes up dramatically. This is because each level at this point has very high requirements. If you would like to use this chart put together by the research team or this calculator also put together by the research team, I have put links to them in the pinned comment of this video. For the calculator, after clicking the link, click File and then Make a Copy. This will create your own version of the calculator, which you can use whenever you need it. You will notice that I did not mention the shipyard or the stable. The shipyard is unlocked at level 185 and the stable is rumored to unlock at 186, but neither of these levels are actually attainable because the 20 ebonite ingots and the ship figurehead listed in the requirements for district level 185 do not actually exist in the game yet. But when they are added, I will make sure that these research documents available to you will stay up to date. Well, that's it guys, hope that helps. In conclusion, district levels are one of my least favorite aspects of Frostborn. They are set up extremely pay to win and therefore do not, in my opinion, represent Frostborn well. I hope one day the devs will add new ways for Frostborn players to get silver, but there is no talk of something like that yet. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.